But they've been putting it off for a really long time.
Okay, we'll call Public Works Planning Committee, y'all. I'm gonna call on Mr. Brad Turner.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you again for a beautiful day, Lord, and thank you for all the blessings that you've given all of us, Lord, collectively and individually, Lord. And we're humbled by the responsibility we have here, Lord. Ask that you give us clarity tonight in our discussions, Lord. Keep our emotions at bay, and we're able to make the best decisions for the citizens of this county. Ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, need a motion to approve minutes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, building code is up first.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners,
Hello.
Building Codes Department report for July. 197 permits was issued with $49,094 taken in for building permits, 4,270 for plumbing permits, 780 for gas permits, for a total of $54,144. On the back shows our running totals. 44 single-family dwellings issued in July compared to 18 last July. Our total of single families was 294. Last year's first 7 months was 194, so we're up 100 houses for this year. We put that to hold about over 100 the rest of the year. Our total permits issued this year, 1,363. Last year's total for 7 months was 1,105, so we're up 258 total permits. On the next report is our property maintenance inspections. We performed 143 in property maintenance, 78 in BZA and signs. New cases for July was 40, closed was 50. We issued 9, well, we released 1 lien in July. 8 of them was placed on properties. And the next report is our development tax collections. This is the start of our fiscal year for collections, and we collected $20,250 in the building codes department. Planning took in $98,250 for a total of $118,500. Breakdown of those jurisdictions was Murfreesboro took in the largest amount, with Rutherford County second. And that's our running total for this year. And that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Anybody got any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello.
Seems like a long time since I've seen you. Okay, Jack, you
Right.
have to agree.
Yeah.
Mr. Black likes good news. The landfill actually turned a profit in last budget year.
There you go.
That's highly unlikely for us, but we actually did it. So the storms helped in that regard. And if you'll notice on the landfill sheet, where revenue is down a little bit less than what it has been running in the past, and it's because a lot of that storm damage from October of last year has already come through. But if we hold true on this revenue, we will come very close to breaking even this year in the landfill budget. The trash in the convenience centers is picked up. Recycling is picked up as well. Since we met last, we have completed a long-term project on 2 convenience centers. Christiana, Fosterville, and Craner Road both have been paved. Both of them have the cardboard compactors installed, and both of them have all the recycled commodities in place. So that leaves us with 2 of the 14 centers that don't have all the commodities, and they're actually too small. We won't be able to put all that in those locations until we find a new location. And it leaves us 1 that's unpaved. And we'll look into doing that maybe this late fall, when the weather breaks.
That's Eagleville, right? No?
Yeah.
Did Eagleville get paid? No, okay.
No, it hasn't been paid.
Oh, I thought you said there was just one left.
That's it. Eagle was the one that we'll do. These we did right in the end of June, wasn't it, Joe? And it's some of the hottest weather we had. We wound up closing the centers for the rest of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Because we laid the asphalt really, really thick just to make it last, but it took forever for it to cool and set up.
Hmm.
So we'll wait till late fall, early spring when the weather's a little bit better. But
To do Eagleville. Okay, okay. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding you right.
we'll put 1 truckload out there somewhere, call it paved. Any questions on the report?
Yep.
There's a group been in existence here in Rutherford County forever. I hand you one of those newsletters. I meet with them usually, try to meet with them once a month. That's Recycle Rutherford. They do assist us quite a bit in trying to spread the word about recycling. So that's a newsletter that they just send out. So, we'll try to get y'all on the mailing list. We'll actually mail you one each month. But I just gave those to you. And the only other thing I have, Joe, is a budget amendment.
Motion to approve reports first.
So moved.
Second.
I've got any questions on it? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
When we did the budget, set the budget up for this year, we put in a 25-cent an hour raise for each of the part-time employees. And we got a 50-cent raise last year. It was brought to our attention, we had 1 employee that missed the 50 cent last year and didn't get the 25 cents this year. So the budget amendment is to put the money in the budget to pay him the money that he was supposed to have gotten last year and this year, which you can see is not a lot, $300 plus the other benefits go along with it.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
And that money is coming out of, we've got a line item in the convenience center side that's unfilled position, so that's where we're pulling the money from. We don't plan on filling that position at this time.
Is there any questions? All roll.
Commissioner Allen?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner Jernigan?
Yes.
That's all I had.
Thank you.
Sure.
Planning.
Evening, Commissioners.
Good.
Evening. See if I can't make this work here.
Okay. All right, the first thing that we have before you tonight is the lot inventory. Mayor, this is the only copy I have of it. Just give me just a second. I'm sorry. As you can see, the total available lots that we have right now is about 1,206. The total available lots this time last year was 1,478. So again, we still got quite a few out there, but we are still seeing a downward trend in that. And from a planning commission standpoint, we are starting to see a little bit more activity from a plat and subdivision standpoint. Not just a lot, but more than we did last year, I would say, the last couple of years, really. So, and you'll see on the last page, the plats that have not been recorded at this point, kind of where their status is. We still have 709 lots. Those first 2 pages, those are all recorded lots that are ready for building permits today even. But we still have 709 lots that are kind of floating around at various stages of process as far as where they are. So I just wanted to give you that information. If you have any questions, be more than happy to answer them. If not, reverse. we'll go ahead and get into the report. We have 4 zoning applications for your review this month. This actually comes from the last 2 planning commission meetings. Since we didn't meet last month, we do have just a few in here that we, a little more than we normally do. The first is a request by Shane Fogel. This is an amendment for a conditional use permit request. This property is located along Highway 99. The property was rezoned to agricultural services in 2003 to allow a landscape business and nursery. In 2009, they came back through and the property was rezoned to services with a conditional use permit for a planned commercial development. Basically what they want to do was there's a Dollar General store on the property as well as future plans for a convenience market and gas station. During the review process, there was a lot of discussion about the different types of uses, drainage issues, and especially access and traffic. The Planning Commission did approve a site plan for the Dollar General in September of 2009. And as part of the conditional use permit, a $75,000 bond was posted for a turn lane to serve the development as well as the subdivision, I think it's Clear Ridge subdivision, right to the southwest of the property. At that time, their improvements to Highway 99, they are on the state's long-range transportation plan. There seemed to be a little more immediacy in the plans from the state standpoint than there is today. At this point, the state is not making any plans to widen that section of Highway 99. They're going to do some a little further up toward Murfreesboro, but not this particular section right here. So the bond is still in place, and at this point, TDOT is, there's a letter in your agenda of materials that basically says that TDOT does not require the turn lane. They would not have required it in the first place because they don't feel that the warrants for the Dollar General meet for the turn lane. So the applicant has asked for this particular condition to be removed from the conditional use permit. Thereby we could let the state know and the state could release the bond and the money that the gentleman pays, the applicant pays every month to maintain that bond. Now as part of that, one of the conditions that staff had, we still think eventually a turn lane will be needed out there. So what we would recommend if this is approved is that when Lot 2 is developed, then the whole site would be reanalyzed to see if a turn lane would be warranted at that point. And so if it turns out that with the rest of the development out there, specifically the convenience market and the gas station, if that trips the warrants for a turn lane, then it would be installed by the developer at that point. The reason TDOT wanted a bond out there was because with the road improvements out there, they didn't see the point in requiring the applicant to go ahead, go in there, do all the work just because, or just to do that and then have the state come back through and tear it up and redo it. So that was why they asked for the bond. But at this point, it doesn't look like the improvements that far out of Highway 99 are imminent. So that's the first application.
I see it was 3 against it.
Yes.
Was there concerns?
Well, I think it just had the concerns with the traffic out in the area. I'm not aware of just any increase in the traffic accident count. Nothing has been brought to our attention on that. But that's something we can certainly, review prior to the county commission meeting. But I think that was their concern. It was just, if we let it go now, just that and, just wanted to make sure that there's another chance to look at it. But I think there was some concern about that.
Okay.
The second application, bear with me here, let me scroll through here. Second application is another amendment request for Murfreesboro Kubota. This is for property along Shelbyville Pike. The applicant's proposing to amend the master plan for the Davenport subdivision plan unit development by replacing a townhome portion of the development and 7 single-family lots with 2 large commercial lots, and there's a copy of the master plan in your agenda materials as well. The original master plan showed 10 commercial lots along Shelbyville Pike, but no commercial uses were approved with the PUD approval. They're also adding a list of commercial uses to be allowed within Davenport Station as part of this application. But essentially what the applicant is proposing here is to allow the northern lots, and again, if you look at your agenda materials, this is what it looks like. The northern of 2 lots would be this top lot right here is the one we're looking at. They'd like to use that for the Murfreesboro Kubota for Tractor Sales and Service Center. Right now it's currently located in the city of Murfreesboro. Originally it was on Butler Lane, but I think they just had more building than they really needed, and they've changed locations a couple of times to some other sites in the city, and they've identified this as a possible property to locate to. You can see from your comments, the Kubota has Again, been operating in Murfreesboro since 2001. Their operating hours would be Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 12. At this point, the specific use for the southern lot's unknown. Really, they're just really concerned about the northern lot. Their concept plan does show a 15 square foot building. At the time, it was a 4,000 square foot attached porch. Since this has gone through the planning commission, they're actually wanting to reduce the porch to about 1,000 square feet. They just didn't feel they needed that much space. Most of the area, majority would be just the showroom and offices, quite frankly, and then the shop area. Most of it would be the shop area within the showroom and the offices. So something else that they're asking for is the original approval of the planned development was that the development would be a minimum of 35% brick or masonry material, and they're asking for it to be 20% as opposed to 35%. Besides that, this seems to be a fairly straightforward application, and if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them. But really, that's what the request is that they look at an amendment to that conditional use permit to allow the Kubota. The third application is a piece of property. Oh, I'm sorry, something I neglected to say. There is adequate right-of-way out there in the area. However, the entrance to the development, as you can see from the concept plan, does show the primary entrance lining up with Rucker Road, which is right across the street. Over time, especially as the subdivision develops, it's forecasted that will need a traffic signal or some sort of traffic improvements in that area. Doubtful that this will trip anything. Really, the amount of traffic that the Kubota would experience probably wouldn't be enough to warrant any kind of traffic improvements of that magnitude. So what we have requested the applicants to do is to actually provide a certain amount of money in escrow for each of these lots that they're developed to go toward the future installation of a traffic signal in that area. So that was just something I wanted to make you aware of on that. I apologize for not bringing it up the first time. The next application is a piece of property. This is located along Epps Mill Road and Miller Road. It's Rhodes Development. Basically what the applicant's wanting to do, it's about 88 acres. I'm not sure if I've got the right application here. Yes, I do. Okay. Go back here. Okay. Now, if I'm locating where I want to be here, this is my copy. Essentially, the property is currently zoned commercial. A portion of it's zoned commercial C2, and a portion, most of the property is actually zoned R15. You'll notice that this is actually the same area where the Dollar General and Epps Mill Road was approved within the last year or two. But essentially what they're wanting to do is rezone the entire property in question from commercial to and R15 to industrial. They don't necessarily have any specific uses in mind at this point. Now, they do list some potential uses that they could have on the property, mainly being your light manufacturing type businesses, distribution, primarily those type of businesses that they're wanting to look at. Staff did have some concerns about this, really relating to the condition of Epps Mill Road as well as infrastructure out to the area. We actually, when we reviewed this application, we reviewed one on the other side of the interstate as well along Epps Mill Road and Manchester Highway. A lot of similarities between the two. This side, as far as infrastructure availability, was a little better as far as the sewer availability and water. The road, of course, again, this is something that's been a constant discussion with Epps Mill. It is on the state's major thoroughfare plan, that and the interchange, improvements to that. There are longer range improvements. But we've been working with MPO, the Nashville area MPO, to try to, maybe start moving some things forward. Of course, no real time frame on any of that. The county also contracted with Huddleston Steel to do a preliminary engineering study on what it would take to upgrade Epps Mill Road. Any development, of course, here would have to dedicate any necessary right-of-way, as it did for the Dollar General, and possibly escrow for road improvements, those kind of things. This area is within the what was identified under the comprehensive plan as an employment and activity center. The type of uses that they're anticipating in this area are consistent with that, and if this area is rezoned under the new zoning map, that's probably what it would be zoned, is that employment and activity center. Now, a couple of things with this property besides the issues I've already mentioned. The concept plan showed a proposed road going through the property, but kind of cul-de-sacking at the end of the tract, which we didn't particularly want to see. We wanted to see that road go all the way through in anticipation that, any development on the south side or even on the other side of Sled Road at some point would have another way to get to Epps Mill Road as opposed to using Miller Road. So that's basically what that application entails. Again, number of uses primarily, which you would consider light industrial type uses. So that's the third application. The final application is along Las Casas Pike. Let's see if I can not tap this too many times this time. I think that's what happened the last time. Got lost. Okay, this last property is, again, it's on Las Casas Pike. And it's a piece of property with, it's actually, at one point was proposed to be a church. In 2008, the Planning Commission approved a site plan for the Dayspring Baptist Fellowship Church for the property. They renewed the site plan approval back in 2011, but was never finalized, and since that point has expired, and the property is vacant. Since that time, I think the church has kind of changed their plans somewhat, and they're actually looking to sell the property now. Dollar General is really the applicant for this. They'd like to put a Dollar General store on this location. The Board of Zoning Appeals had actually approved the site on the intersection of Highway 96 and Lofton Road just within the last few months, but the plans for that basically fell through for various reasons. So they're looking for another site in that area and have identified this. This is directly across the street from there's a nursery, Peachtree Nursery out in the area, which is owned services, and also the county's convenience center is located right out in that area as well. So that's just kind of an overview of the applications that we have, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
And it is zoned for particularly
the Dollar General site?
No, and services.
Well, that's what they're asking for.
Right.
Yeah, currently it's zoned for residential use.
Well, I haven't had no calls about it. I know the planning commissioner that lives out there, he said he'd received some, but everything I've received was positive. I think it's a better location than where it was previously at, in my opinion. So, I'm good with it.
Yeah, the store itself, it's 11,500 square feet. The majority would be for the Dollar General, and there'd be a second lease space at that point, which could be a number of different type uses. I think they identify several potential ones in here. Just general retail, really, I think is really what they're looking at more than anything. He's not want to behave for me tonight. But yeah, you can see on the
Applicant
right
at the top.
at the top there, general retail, trade, animal care, veterinary, just a variety. And really, I think what they did with this is they used a lot of these terms here from our proposed zoning code. So if the zoning code does go through, then it would be consistent with what's already been approved with the new zoning code. But I think that's what we encourage them to do anyway.
Anything else you want to ask Doug?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Doug,
Go ahead.
well, I mean, after this, go ahead and call them, I got a few questions.
All in favor?
Aye. On these borrow pits,
Sir.
as far as the county, how do we enforce them to cover and all that?
Yes, sir.
Can you explain a little
I
bit
can,
about that?
yes, sir, be happy to. Under our regulations for borrow pits,
All right.
there's a provision in there that says that a reclamation plan has to be submitted and approved by the county engineer before we'll let them start their excavation activity on the property. So they'll have to provide that material to us prior to us letting them go forward.
Okay.
And I know what you're referring to,
Right.
and I believe that their plan is to remove, if it's approved, to remove the clay. They're saving the topsoil, and then when they get done, put the topsoil back on, reseed,
Sure.
and everything.
And I think it if it's anybody that would do it, this particular gentleman would do it. But it's also some questions about BFI out there. They've started theirs. I mean, my understanding, the state, do they oversee them to fix theirs back, or?
There are regulations in the state code as far as reclamation plans and what has to be provided to the state.
But we have no way of enforcing them to do that.
They didn't come to us prior to that, so I'm assuming they're working through the state.
And I also know that you can move dirt on your property.
Yes, sir.
And it is their property.
Right.
And move it anywhere on that particular area.
Right, and there's no, that doesn't, in our mind, if it's staying on the same property, that doesn't qualify as a borrow pit. So,
Right,
based
right.
on the way the
But-
regulations are drawn up.
As long as they're not going across a road or off of that area, right?
And as far as I know, that's, again, I don't know a whole lot about what they're doing out there, but,
Right.
it's,
Well, I guess the county road runs up right between there and the landfill, the BFI. It is on the road map. Is it BFI's road or is it the county's road? That's what I need to know.
No, it's in the county road.
It's on that, I know it's on the county road, but
if it's in the county road, I mean, Joe
We
Frank. obviously-
maintained it, we paved it twice. or
absolutely.
something.
So it is a county road?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Just one quick announcement as well regarding our proposed, like I kind of mentioned earlier, our proposed zoning draft and zoning map. Our next public hearing is coming Monday, I believe it's the 13th at 6 o'clock. Hope to see some of you out there. We haven't gotten a whole lot of phone calls just about it currently or recently, but
What's that?
I'm sorry.
I was kinda lost train of thought. What do you?
Oh, our draft zoning ordinance
Oh, okay.
document. We're having this will be the third public hearing we've had on it. I think we've made several significant changes to the document. We've gotten a lot of very meaningful input into the process. I think it's made it a better document, quite frankly. But hopefully we'll see where it all goes this coming Monday.
So next Monday.
This coming, right, yes, sir, the 13th.
We're all getting close to winding that up.
I hope so. Yes, sir, I hope so.
I
Of
think
course,
everybody does.
if it's approved at the county, or the planning commission, then it'll come forward at the county commission. Now, there are advertising requirements as far as the number of days it has to run. So, even if assuming it's approved, just for the sake of argument, we wouldn't have enough time for September, so we'd be looking at probably in October. We've talked about the possibility of having maybe like a joint meeting with the planning commission, have the consultant there to kind of, go through everything, not have a public hearing, be in that open meeting, of course, but just for you to ask questions and everything. So we'll kind of keep you up to date as what we do with that. That's all I have.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
On the other item on there, the highway department had one item. In the county estates. People in there had requested that little section of road be closed right there, and Mr. Fire and Mr. Hullison was at the road board Monday. And that little section right there, they agreed to close that off right there. That was gonna be a future that would tie into another road, but so that's what they asking for on it. You got a map right there that shows the line part of the mark.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. I think that's a, there's something for
Yeah, if you need a motion.
information.
Anybody got any questions on it? All in favor? Anybody got any other bids?